Welcome back to our channel. Tonight we're gonna unravel this 4 true horror stories. From unexplained disappearances to encounters with the unknown, these tales will make you question everything you thought you knew. Get a warm cup of coffee, dim the lights, and get comfortable. It's time to explore the world of the unexplained. Story 1. In January 1935, a man checked into the Hotel President in Kansas City under the name Roland T. Owen. From the moment he arrived, his presence sparked curiosity. He was described as a tall, well-dressed man, seemingly in his late 20s. However, there was something peculiar about him. He had no luggage except for a small black comb, a toothbrush, and toothpaste. Owen requested a room on a high floor, and he was given room 1046. A bellboy accompanied him to his room, noting that Owen locked the door behind them. Owen's odd behavior began to catch the attention of the hotel staff almost immediately. The next morning, a maid entered room 1046 and found Owen sitting quietly in the dimly lit room. He allowed her to clean but instructed her to leave the door unlocked, explaining that he was expecting a friend. This would be the first of many strange interactions. Throughout his stay, the maid noted several unusual details. Owen seemed to be living in near darkness, relying on a single dim lamp. He appeared nervous and on edge, often pacing the room. He would leave the room briefly and return, always locking the door behind him. On one occasion, the maid heard him on the phone, speaking in a strained voice. "No, Dawn, I don't want to eat. I am not hungry. I just had breakfast. No, I am not hungry." Days passed, and the mysterious Dawn became a topic of speculation among the staff. Who was this person Owen seemed so afraid of? On January 4th, the situation took a terrifying turn. The hotel phone operator noticed that the phone in room 1046 had been off the hook for a long time. A bellboy was sent to check on Owen. After several unanswered knocks, the bellboy opened the door with his passkey and found Owen in a horrific state. Owen was lying on the bed, naked, with severe injuries. He had been bound with cords around his neck, wrists, and ankles. Blood was everywhere, on the bed, the walls, and the floor. Miraculously, Owen was still alive, but barely conscious. When asked who had done this to him, he simply replied, "Nobody." Before slipping into unconsciousness, he murmured, "I fell against the bathtub." Owen was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to his injuries shortly after. The police were baffled. There were no signs of forced entry, and nothing appeared to be stolen from the room. The autopsy revealed that Owen had suffered multiple stab wounds, a punctured lung, and a fractured skull. Despite the severe beating, Owen had shown remarkable resistance, suggesting he fought fiercely for his life. Investigators discovered that Roland T. Owen was an alias. His true identity remained a mystery, and the trail of leads quickly went cold. The case grew even more perplexing when a woman called the funeral home handling Owen's body. She refused to give her name but claimed that Owen's death was the result of a lover's quarrel. She insisted on paying for his funeral expenses and provided funds to ensure he was buried in Memorial Park Cemetery in Kansas City. In the following months, detectives received tips and leads, but none led to any concrete answers. The mysterious Dawn was never found, and the true identity of Roland T. Owen remained unknown. The case grew cold, becoming one of the most enduring mysteries in Kansas City's history. To this day, the brutal murder of the man known as Roland T. Owen continues to haunt the annals of true crime. Room 1046 of the Hotel President stands as a silent witness to a crime that defies explanation, a chilling reminder of how some mysteries are never meant to be solved. Story 2. On a calm night in May 2008, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson was driving home from a gathering with friends, celebrating the end of the school year. As he navigated the rural roads of Minnesota, his car unexpectedly veered into a ditch near the small town of Lind. Frustrated but uninjured, Brandon attempted to free his vehicle to no avail. Realizing he needed help, he called his parents, Brian and Annette Swanson, at approximately 1:54 a.m. Brandon reassured them he was fine but disoriented. He described his surroundings, open fields and the faint glimmer of distant lights, which he believed belonged to the nearby town of Lind. His parents agreed to pick him up, and Brandon began walking towards the lights while staying on the phone with them to guide them to his location. As the minutes turned into hours, the sense of unease grew. Brandon's parents drove to the area he described, but they could not find him or his car. Brandon remained calm, continuing to provide details about his surroundings and landmarks. At one point, he mentioned hearing running water and seeing a fence, but these clues did little to pinpoint his exact location. Then, at 2:30 a.m., Brandon suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, shit." The phone call abruptly ended, plunging his parents into panic. They repeatedly called back but received no response. The fear in their voices was palpable as they realized something had gone terribly wrong. Desperate, Brian and Annette contacted the local police, who launched an extensive search operation. Authorities traced Brandon's cell phone signal, initially believing he was near the town of Porter, miles away from where he thought he was. Search teams combed through fields, ditches, and waterways, employing helicopters, dogs, and volunteers, but they found no trace of Brandon or his phone. Days turned into weeks, and the mystery deepened. Investigators explored various theories, from foul play to accidental drowning in one of the many rivers and creeks in the area. However, no evidence supported any definitive conclusion. The only clues were the disjointed fragments of Brandon's last phone call and the general location his signal had last been detected. Brandon's parents continued to search tirelessly, refusing to give up hope. They walked the fields and waterways, retracing steps and revisiting potential leads, but the landscape seemed to swallow any signs of their son. The lack of closure was excruciating, leaving them and the community in a perpetual state of limbo. The case attracted national attention, leading to increased awareness of missing persons issues and the importance of improved search and rescue protocols. Yet, despite the widespread efforts and advanced technology employed, the fate of Brandon Swanson remains an unsolved enigma. It challenges our understanding of safety and proximity, showing that even in familiar surroundings, the unexpected can strike, leaving behind a trail of questions and heartache. As the years pass, the mystery of what happened to Brandon Swanson endures, a poignant symbol of unresolved loss and the enduring hope for answers that may never come. But what do you think? Could there be more to these stories, or are they simply anomalies in an otherwise predictable world? Leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. Story 3. In March 1998, 23-year-old Amy Lynn Bradley embarked on a Caribbean cruise with her family aboard the Rhapsody of the Seas. What was supposed to be a relaxing vacation turned into a nightmare that haunts her family to this day. Amy, a recent college graduate, was looking forward to some quality time with her parents and brother. However, the tranquil voyage quickly transformed into an unending search for answers. On the night of March 23rd, the ship was docked in Curaçao. Amy spent the evening dancing at the ship's nightclub with the ship's band members. She returned to her cabin in the early hours of March 24th, and her father, Ron Bradley, last saw her asleep on the balcony around 5:30 a.m. By 6 a.m., she had vanished without a trace. Panic set in as the family frantically searched the ship, alerting the crew and security. Despite their pleas, the ship was not immediately sealed off, allowing passengers to disembark in Curaçao. This critical delay likely hindered the investigation. Amy's disappearance was baffling. She was a strong swimmer, making it unlikely she had accidentally fallen overboard. Moreover, there were no signs of foul play in her cabin. An extensive search of the ship and surrounding waters yielded no clues. Authorities in Curaçao were notified, and the FBI became involved, but Amy was nowhere to be found. As days turned into weeks, the Bradleys were left with more questions than answers. The cruise line's initial lack of urgency and subsequent handling of the situation only added to their frustration and anguish. In the years following Amy's disappearance, her family has received numerous reports of potential sightings, each one offering a glimmer of hope, only to be dashed by inconclusive evidence. One of the earliest came from a Canadian tourist in 1998, who claimed to have seen a woman resembling Amy on a beach in Curaçao, accompanied by two men. The woman reportedly had the same distinctive tattoos as Amy, including a Tasmanian devil on her shoulder blade. Another sighting occurred in 1999 when a sailor reported seeing a woman matching Amy's description in a brothel in Barbados. The woman reportedly begged for help, claiming her name was Amy and that she was being held against her will. Despite these chilling accounts, no concrete evidence has surfaced to confirm Amy's whereabouts. In 2005, an image surfaced on an adult website depicting a woman with a striking resemblance to Amy. This further fueled the belief that she had been sold into human trafficking. The FBI continues to investigate these leads, but the nature of human trafficking networks makes it difficult to track down definitive information. Amy's case has been featured on various true crime television shows and documentaries, bringing international attention to her plight and the issue of human trafficking. Her family has never given up hope, tirelessly working to keep her story in the public eye and advocating for stronger safety measures on cruise ships. The disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley is a deeply unsettling case that underscores the dangers that can lurk even in seemingly secure environments. It's a story of a family's relentless pursuit of truth and justice in the face of overwhelming odds.
Story 4.
Cindy James, a nurse in Vancouver, Canada, lived a life marred by fear and torment. For nearly 7 years, she endured a relentless campaign of harassment that would ultimately culminate in her mysterious and tragic death. This unsettling case continues to puzzle investigators and intrigue true crime enthusiasts. In 1982, Cindy, then 37 years old, began receiving anonymous, threatening phone calls. The calls quickly escalated to violent acts of harassment. She reported incidents of her porch lights being smashed, threatening notes left on her doorstep, and sinister, silent phone calls. Her stalker seemed to know her every move, and despite changing her phone number, moving to a new house, and even changing her name, the harassment continued unabated. The torment took a physical toll on Cindy. In one chilling incident, she was found dazed and semi-conscious in her garage, with a black nylon stocking tied around her neck. She claimed to have been attacked and drugged, but no evidence of a struggle or forced entry was found. Despite her increasing distress, police were skeptical of her claims, suspecting that she might be fabricating the incidents. Cindy's friends and family, however, believed her story. Her ex-husband, Dr. Roy Makepeace, a psychiatrist, also vouched for her sincerity. Cindy even hired a private investigator, Ozzy Cabin, to help uncover the identity of her tormentor. Cabin witnessed several incidents firsthand, including finding Cindy with her hands and feet bound and suffering from apparent overdoses. Despite this, no definitive evidence was found to identify or apprehend her stalker. On May 25, 1989, Cindy James disappeared. Her car was found in a neighborhood parking lot, with groceries and a wrapped gift for a friend still inside. Inside the vehicle were traces of blood and a black nylon stocking. 2 weeks later, her body was discovered in the yard of an abandoned house, approximately 1.5 miles from where her car was found. She was hogtied, with her hands and feet bound behind her back. The cause of death was determined to be an overdose of morphine and other drugs. The circumstances surrounding her death were bizarre and deeply unsettling. How could she have administered a lethal dose of drugs and then tied herself up in such a manner? Despite these questions, the police ruled her death a suicide, suggesting she had staged the harassment to garner attention and sympathy. Cindy's friends and family vehemently disagreed with the official ruling. They pointed to the years of documented harassment, the physical attacks, and the psychological toll it took on her. They argued that it was highly improbable for her to tie herself up after taking such a large dose of drugs. The private investigator also maintained that Cindy's fear and distress were genuine. Was she the victim of a sadistic stalker who managed to evade capture for years, or did her own mind betray her in a desperate bid for attention? The truth remains elusive, shrouded in a web of fear, doubt, and unanswered questions. That's it for tonight. Thank you for watching till the end. If you want to be featured in one of our videos, send your history to me in the email you'll find in description.
Pleasant dreams and good night until the next video.